But I think I honestly believe, if I recall correctly, several of them are from the Brandon area, which is Debbie Meekin's area, and some are in Tampa. There might be one or two out in John and Steve and Linda's area. But Linda, I think you're all covered. I think all your clubs are covered.
I think so. I rule with an iron fist.
I know. And you're going to have to continue ruling with iron fist because they're going to have to do election. Election in December.
Yeah.
So they need to make that happen. I think Michael might have one or two.
Yeah, I see with the Highlands Club, they've got the president's also listed as the president-elect.
Okay.
So yes, I'll double check with that one and with Olivia to make sure that's right and see if she's actually going to do 2 years or not.
Who is that? Is that Barbara?
That's Barbara McNaney.
Yeah, Barbara. When I spoke to Barbara, Barbara did say she was going to do 2 years.
Okay. I'll just reconfirm and double check, but
yeah.
But it looks like all of our other ones have. That's the only one that would be questionable. Just making sure she's actually going to do 2 years or not.
Because with Barbara, we're going to have to really work with her to get her on Zoom on next Wednesday. Okay, so I'm letting you know that so we can get her, because I told her that we will work with her to get her on. Okay.
That's actually Olivia's club, but I'll work with Olivia and we'll get it worked out for Barbara.
Okay. And hi, Debbie.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Debbie, a couple of your clubs also, the PEs haven't put their names in Adaptable. So double check with your clubs also for me, please.
Okay.
Okay. And Michael, I think you might have one. Yeah, I know for a fact that you have one. And I tried to call her and I haven't heard back from her yet.
Is that Caitlin?
Well, really, it's Caitlin and Sally. Sally's the other one.
They have it figured out. I think Sally might do a second term.
Yes, that's the last conversation I had with her.
And I think Caitlin either picked somebody or might do a second term. So everybody's on the right track. I just don't know that they have them in yet.
Double check with them and make sure that they go into Dactaby and put it in.
Okay.
That they're going to be the PE. Because like I said, Brian Reeves is going to send out an email, a P-mail with the Zoom information so they can come on the 28th.
What's a P-mail?
Huh?
What's a P-mail?
Dactaby. You know what a P-mail is. Come on now.
I had to throw you a curveball.
That's pretty funny.
You better be glad it wasn't last night. Is that right, Andy?
And that's one of your AGs?
That's one of my AGs. See what I'm dealing with? I got to dye my hair every day.
Hey, Deborah?
Yes.
I do have a club that's going to be starting back tomorrow, meeting in person at a different location, but it's been updated in DACDB, and that's Winter Haven.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, the new location's on DACDB now.
Okay, fantastic.
Andy, I do know what P-mail is.
I figured you did, Mike.
No, you don't. I'm going to keep it clean, though. I'm going to get you later, Michael.
Let me know if you need some backup.
Okay, we'll do.
Michael, you just saw Deborah's Twitch kick in. She was about to snap on you.
Hey, Mike.
What's up, Miss Debbie?
Hey.
Not much. I got 2 email things going, and one's spiraling, and the other is, looks like I'm hesitating. Hold on. 3 computers, and I can't get any Zoom. What's going on?
Nice ceiling.
Ask Mr. Megan to help you out.
It's popcorn. Yeah, there he is.
Hey, Mike, how you doing, buddy?
I see Michael.
Hey, there he is.
Everyone, please sign in. Don't forget to sign in.
I see you
I'm
and
trying to get this
the Megans are social distancing. That's a good thing.
You know.
Yeah, yeah. How do I close all?
Hey, I want everyone to know that Mike is a member of the 2022-2023 DGN class. He's one of us.
Honorary, huh?
Yep. We love our Mike. Not as much as we love Debbie, but we love our Mike. Yeah, he did a great job with pets last year.
You got favoritism, huh?
Are we ready to go?
Yeah, we're ready to go.
Let's rock and roll.
Okay,
What do you want to start with? You want to do
hold on.
a prayer or pledge
Yes.
first?
Well, first of all, do we have everybody?
I know who I'm missing, and they've got to make up on the recordings.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna mute all. Is everybody muted? Now. Did we mute everybody, Andy?
Mute everybody.
Michael, you're not muted. Debbie's not muted.
Well,
Lisa,
I'm on my phone and I can't find it. Yeah, I am. I'm muted.
mhm.
Why you keep unmuting me, Debbie?
I don't know what I'm doing now.
Okay,
I got her there.
okay, thank you. Like I said, good evening, everyone. Our fellow Rotarians of District 6890 and District 6960. Again, we welcome you to PETS1, and this is session number 2. Everybody know that I'm Deborah, and my esteemed colleague is Andy of District 6960. At this time, Andy, go ahead and conduct us for the Pledge of Allegiance first,
You
and
got
we'll all remain seated.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
Of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it
which
stands,
stands
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty
liberty
and justice
and
for all.
justice for all. Thank you, Andy. At this time, we'll have the invocation. Everyone, please bow your heads. Father, we come to you with bowed heads and humble hearts. We just want to say thank you for the blessings of love, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And last but not least, the discernment. We ask that you bestow those same blessings upon our loved ones, our fellow Rotarians, and the sick and infirm. Father, please continue to protect the men and women of the armed forces, the first responders, the elderly, and our children. We ask all these blessings in your son's name. Amen, amen, amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Okay, four-way test, Andy.
Of the things we think, say, or do, first, is it the
Is it the
truth?
truth?
Second, is it fair to
Fair to
all?
all concerned.
Third, will it build goodwill and better friendship? And fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you. Tonight, I just want to introduce the instructors that we have tonight from District 6890. We have Rotarian Brian Reeves, who from Rotary Club of Winter Haven, and he is our district trainer. And he started his duties and responsibilities already, but he's going to be listed as a district trainer for 2021 to 2022. We also have Rotarian Larry Becker. He's from the Rotary Club of Lakeland, and he's currently our district creative director for 2020 to 2021. And then you have myself, District Governor-elect Deborah. Andy, introduce your instructors, please.
We have got the Lisa McCarthy, past president of the Rotary Club of Naples, the home of our past director, John Smarge. She's my district trainer this year and been a delight to work with. So good to hear her and Brian team up on strategic plan. They did and I think John Smarge was actually one of the heads of that committee to put together the RI strategic plan. So Lisa sits in the right club. And then you have me, District Governor-elect, Andy Lyman. It's good to see everybody tonight. I know we're doing this different ways than we usually do it, but we're getting through it.
Thank you, Andy. At this time, it'll be Lisa and Brian.
Wait, hold on.
They'll cover RI strategic plan. And before they get started, I just want everyone to know, and this applies to all the AGs, and it will apply to the PEs. All slides that you have seen thus far have been downloaded on DACTB, but Andy may have done it differently, but when I downloaded all the files in DACTB, I downloaded it in your file. When I say your file, I have gone to the district committees and I have downloaded all the files, all the slides, the PowerPoints into the AG folder. And so, and I have filed them also in the PE folder. So I did it publicly, but it's only in your separate folders. So anybody and everybody cannot go in and just pull, get those files out. You will have access to those files, because the reason why we put those files in your folder is because those are the files that you will use to instruct your PEs November and December timeframe. So you do not have to generate or recreate any slides or anything. You have all the teaching materials at your fingertips, okay? So you can go in there and you can, if something you missed from last week, you can go in there and you can find it in the AG file, okay?
Yeah.
All right, Lisa and Brian.
For 6960, I'll show you what it looks like. If you go to the district tab in DACDB,
Mhm.
it look the same between both districts. You go to district files. In there is 2122 Governor Andy leadership.
Mhm.
And then all our areas that we've had presentations are in there. So your PowerPoints will sit in there.
And like I said, the difference, 6960, they put it in district files. And for 6890, I put it in district committees. I put it in, that's why I put ours in district committees, because I broke it out between the AGs and the PEs. Okay?
So Lisa and Brian, you guys ready?
We are ready.
All
Ready
right.
as we'll ever be.
All right. Take it away.
All right. So let me share my screen. Is that good? Everybody can see that?
Yes.
All right. Very good. Ready. So thank you very much for joining us this evening, and we will do our best with our presentation. So thank you, Andy, for putting that John Smarge pressure on me. If anybody's been in any of John's presentations, I know he's done this at PETS for the last 2 years. He always talks about, being a president, and every July 1st, he's always so excited because every club leadership changes and the club takes on the characteristics of the president. And he always talks about in his club, there was somebody who joined the club and was just absolutely terrified of public speaking. And then they got up to be president, and they just kind of let their personality come through, and the public speaking might not have been perfect, but people seem to manage fine. Well, that person is me. So please bear with me this evening. So we will tell you a little bit about ourselves, and I will send that over to Brian.
Thank you, Lisa.
I don't know if Brian is frozen there.
It looks like we might have lost Brian.
All right, well, I will start then until Brian gets back on. So again, I'm Lisa McCarthy, and I am helping Andy next year as a District 6960 trainer. I am a member of the Rotary Club of Naples. I've been a member since 2011. In that time, I've probably served in every position, including past president. And this year, I'm actually helping my own club as program chair, which is a really fun, exciting job. When I'm not volunteering for Rotary, I am helping my husband run a travel agency. So this year, that is actually a volunteer position as well, because we're in travel and 2020 is not friendly. So I don't know if Brian is back yet.
I'm back. You can hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. So let me just quickly go over my intro again. Good evening, everyone. My name is Brian Reeves. I am the District Training Coordinator for District 6890 for the year 2021 to 2022. I have been a member of Rotary Club of Winter Haven since 2012, and I'm a past president as well. I look forward to going over the strategic plan with you for our district this evening.
All right, let's get started. So Rotary has a vision statement, and that is, together we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. So when Rotary International began to develop a new strategic plan over 2 years ago, they started by taking a good look in the mirror. They asked hard questions as they performed a thorough self-assessment, all the while acknowledging the changing world around us. Once they identified the gaps between who they are and who they want to be, they looked to us, the Rotarians. They asked more than 1 million people from across the world to share their input with their strategic planning committee through focus groups and surveys. Each goal in their plan is based on feedback from these leaders, the members, and Rotary participants who want the organization to achieve its vision. So the new strategic plan is Rotary International's action plan. And you may have heard their People of Action campaign, and that those align with each other. So the action plan is the organization's call to action to work together to build a stronger future. The plan will help us realize what's truly possible when people of action unite, connect with others who share our values, and commit to creating change in the world and within ourselves. The action plan is not about wiping away our values. It's not about wiping away our tradition or our tried and true core principles. It's about making our organization stronger so values will last for years to come. It's about using effective tactics to strengthen the organization at all levels. It's about ensuring that every person who engages with us has a meaningful, valuable, and fulfilling experience. It's about changing more lives and communities for the better. So as people of action, we share a strong sense of purpose. More than a century ago, we pioneered a new model of service leadership grounded in person-to-person connections. Today, those connections are a network that spans the globe, bridging cultural, linguistic, generational, and geographic barriers, and shares the vision of a better world. As people of action, we understand that fulfilling that vision requires a plan. This is Rotary's plan for the next 5 years: to increase our impact, expand our reach, enhance participant engagement, and increase our ability to adapt. By helping realize the goals of this plan, you ensure a stronger and more effective future for Rotary, a tremendous legacy. The plan is rooted in our tried and true values and builds on the remarkable capabilities and spirits of Rotarians. It is, however, clear-eyed about the challenges that Rotary faces. It protects the value of human connection in an age of technology. It lays out a path for bringing great ideas to the forefront of the global imagination of what's possible. And our plan will provide us with a continuity of vision from year to year, keeping us moving toward fulfilling our shared purpose. And this is what is called Rotary's Action Plan.
Increase our impact. Bullet point 1 talks about eradicate polio and leverage the legacy. Focus our programs and offerings. Third, improve our ability to achieve and measure impact. People of action are effective problem solvers. Why do Rotarians achieve so much? We invest in relationships. We make decisions grounded in evidence. We know how to mobilize our network to create solutions that last. And we are always learning from our experiences in projects, clubs, and careers. Throughout the fight to end polio, we have shown that we can do when we have shown what we can do when we draw our collective strengths. We have created solutions that match the people they serve. We have evaluated the results to learn from our successes and setbacks. This is the model we use again and again in pursuit of our audacious goals. Educating the world's children, ensuring equitable access to water and sanitation, helping local economies grow sustainably, and so much more. Let's seek out new ways to translate our expertise into making a difference in our communities across the globe. Let's prove that our impact on the world has only just begun.
So people of action activate and inspire one another. So we know our capability to make a difference is larger when more people unite with us. We want the world to appreciate our ambitious, compassionate, and inclusive spirit, because when they do, they see that Rotary is the source for the person-to-person involvement so many are seeking. Our stories give people hope that the world can change for the better, inviting listeners to imagine themselves as part of that change. So let's build connections and opportunities that will allow people who share our drive to do the same. So how can we expand our reach? Here's a couple of ideas. We want to grow and diversify our membership and participation. And as you heard last week, we have some great district assets. We have Nadej and Rick who talked about diversity, equity, and inclusion. And we have Gerard and Dewan who talked about membership. So if you have questions about membership, diversity, participation, please reach out to them. They will do whatever they can to help you. And of course, Brian and I will do whatever we can to facilitate assistance as well. So we also want to create new channels into Rotary. We want to increase Rotary's openness and appeal. And we will want to build awareness of our impact and our brand. And one of the easiest ways to do that is social media.
As we talk about enhanced participant engagement, first bullet point talks about support clubs to better engage their members. We're talking about all members, not exclusion, but inclusion. Bullet point number 2, develop a participant-centered approach to deliver value. Everyone should be able to get something out of a Rotary project and be involved. Bullet point number 3, offer new opportunities for personal and professional connection. Keep in mind, it needs to be diverse, both personally and professionally. And finally, provide leadership development and skills training. Know your members. You know your membership base, so use that knowledge to draw on your club's strengths. People of action strive to understand the needs of others. Just like the people and communities we serve, our participants need to feel and seen and be heard. Therefore, seeking experiences that feel professionally and personally relevant and fulfilling when they see our dedication to invest in them at every stage of their professional life. Our participants are eager to go the distance with us, even at a time when there are many other options for networking and volunteering. Let's recommit to putting the needs, expectations, and growth of our participants at the center of all we do. Just remember, Rotary's core values: fellowship, integrity, diversity, service, and leadership. And I quote, "The world today is not the same as it was when Rotary was founded in 1905. The demographics have shifted, the pace of change has accelerated, and technology has created new opportunities for connection and service. What hasn't changed is a need for the values that define Rotary. By honoring our past and embracing our future, we can evolve and keep Rotary not only relevant, but thriving." Lisa?
Thank you. So people of action are also inventive, entrepreneurial, and resilient. Rotarians have shown throughout our history that we excel at finding new ways to lead the world to lasting change. And we've proven in our own careers that we know how to help organizations of every kind move forward. That's why new approaches to our organizing principles don't threaten our sense of who we are. We're ready to seek out fresh opportunities, create more paths to leadership, open up our conversations to diverse voices, and simplify how we operate, all with confidence. Let's stay true to ourselves and stay ahead of change in our next 115 years. So how are we going to increase our ability to adapt? Right here, we've got build a culture of research, innovation, and willingness to take risks. We're going to make mistakes, but that's okay. That's how we learn. We want to streamline governance, structure, and processes. And that's what we're here to do. We want to put those in writing, and that's going to be a big help for us going forward. And then, of course, we want to review the governance to foster more diverse perspectives in decision-making, different points of view. Well, the action plan created by RI might focus on Rotary International and the corporate level activities that will drive us toward our vision. It also translates into a club and district level. So what does that mean for you as an AG? Take into consideration the priorities and ideas in the plan to help make each of the clubs in your area the best they can be. Keep in mind that every Rotary journey is different, and every individual's own journey may be different at different points in their life. Get members involved, listen to their input, listen to their opinions, and listen to their suggestions. Make sure that your president-elects are flexible to their members' needs. As was pointed out last week, some Rotarians are looking for socialization. Some are looking for service opportunities. Others are looking for networking and the opportunity to build career skills. Still others just want to go to lunch every week and talk to their friends. So again, the biggest thing to remember here is to be flexible. Make sure your PEs know that they need to be flexible.
Create new clubs formats. Introduce a 10-minute presentation for the club members to share what they do professionally. It could be as simple as a 7-minute presentation with a 3-minute Q&A. In some clubs, you will have members that have been living in that community for a very long time and are very well established in that business community and doesn't see the need to network for their business. So while a new club member that moves to that community will need the opportunity to network and build his or her own business. I have a neat little story because when I became president of my Rotary Club, the previous format is that for notes and comments, our members are able to speak for 5 minutes and they generally share something of an hobby, or if they've gone on vacation, they share the photos or so. but I implemented the 10-minute presentation where a member could still talk about their hobbies and their likes or interests, but also talk about what they do professionally. And we had an attorney in our club that's pretty tech savvy, and he always talks about cell phones or computers or so. And at some point in time, the new members that joined our club thought he was selling computers. Hence, when I introduced this program, they not only discovered that he was a real estate attorney, but that he only practiced on the commercial side of real estate. So that gave him an opportunity for the club members, especially the new ones, to know exactly what he does. Invite speakers who have not had an opportunity to speak at your club. We're all used to having quite a few speakers that we have invited in the past, and it seems like it's an annual thing that that speaker keeps coming back over and over. Let's switch it up a bit. One of the things you can do is to assign a different member of your club each month to be responsible to secure speakers for a specific month of the year. This will definitely expose the various speakers to Rotary Club, which in turn will open up an opportunity for them to become a member. You can also post your speakers on Dactivi so that other clubs can get ideas or secure those speakers for their clubs as well. Lisa?
Thank you. So how does the RI strategic plan lead to a club strategic plan? So each club should have the same priorities as the Rotary International Action Plan. And what are those priorities? We go back to that first, one of the first very colorful slides: increase our impact, expand our reach, enhance participant engagement, and increase our ability to adapt. So you want to make sure that each club and the experiences of its members be the best they can be. So how do you get started? So assemble a strategic planning team made up of past, present, and incoming club leaders to develop the plan and make sure it's helping your club achieve its goals. It's also a great idea to ask a non-Rotarian or a Rotaractor or even a club member who's not in a leadership position to facilitate the strategic planning meetings. So you're going to get all different points of view. Get a variety of perspectives by involving club members who have diverse backgrounds and experiences. You don't want to get the same few people that have been making decisions for years. This is a great opportunity to bring in some fresh eyes. Make sure the club's vision reflects Rotary's official strategic vision. And again, that was in the beginning of this presentation. And then align your club's goals, not only with RI strategic plan, but also with the district's strategic plan. And that's where Andy and Deborah can come in and help as well.
Phase 1, determine your status. How is your club doing now? Identify strategic issues to address. Determine your club's strengths and weaknesses. Assess member satisfaction and needs. Identify opportunities and challenges in the community. Before you set your club's long-term goals, it's important to determine your club's strengths and weaknesses by gathering comments from your members. Use the Rotary Club Health Check, which was sent to you in our original welcome email. Identify opportunities and challenges in the community by meeting with other community leaders. You want to identify strategic issues. What are the critical issues or concerns the club wants to address? Strategic issues are those critical unknowns that are driving you to embark on a strategic planning process. These are issues that are looking for a solution or a decision. Think about what issues you want to address with this strategic plan. Potential questions to ask members. 1, How will we increase our membership and engage members in our club? 2, how can we attract diverse group of members? And finally, how can we include more community members in our club's activities?
Phase 2, develop a vision. What do you want your club to be like? Or for as an AG, what do you want to stress to your presence, to your PEs, how to get there, what do they want their clubs to look like? So Rotary's vision statement asks us to unite and take action to create lasting change. So get your PEs to list 5 to 7 characteristics you want their club to have within 3 to 5 years that will help realize that strategic vision. For example, do they want their club to be fun? Do they want it to be service-oriented, innovative, representative of the community, etc.? So the vision statement defines the future, and it provides direction for what the PEs want their club to be. So get them to write a 1-sentence vision statement with their strategic planning team using the list of club characteristics as a reference. Potential questions to consider. What will the club look like in 3 to 5 years? How will they know they've succeeded? What do they want to achieve? The most important thing for you as an AG to remember is no 2 clubs are the same. Every club is unique.
Phase 3, make a plan. How can we achieve your vision? Set strategic priorities, set annual goals, and list the activities, timeline, and resources you will need. Your strategic priorities should help you achieve your vision. These priorities answer the question, how will we succeed? Develop your most important strategic priorities, those that will have the biggest impact as your club works towards its vision. Consider the following when you develop strategic priorities. 1, the Rotary Vision Statement and Strategic Plan. 2, your club's strengths and weaknesses. 3, your district goals. 4, your community's opportunities and challenges. 5, your club members' opinions. 6, what you can achieve in 3 to 5 years. When you have set your strategic priorities, you can develop yearly goals that support them. Write down your strategic priorities, then list your annual goals, along with the activities you will take, the resources you will need, and who will lead the effort to meet each goal. Set a timeline for each. Rotary Club Central can also assist you in setting goals and tracking achievements.
So phase 4, track your progress. How close are you to your goals? So you'll need to get the PEs to track progress towards their annual goals with the strategic planning team and suggest changes to action plans if needed. They might want to try a new approach or allocate more resources to their goals. This plan is adaptable. Consider the following when monitoring progress. How often should they measure progress towards their goals? How should they communicate their progress to the club members? Who should approve changes to action plans or annual goals? As the progress is reviewed, list the goals, including any goals that weren't met and the reasons why. Determine what adjustments or actions should be taken to achieve those unmet goals. Consider the following when identifying and listing missed targets. What goals were not met? What are the top reasons they fell short of those goals? What adjustments need to be made to help them achieve those goals? So something I want to point out is that a strategic plan is very different than bylaws. Bylaws are rules, and a strategic plan is a vision. So that's why a strategic plan can be altered as information is gathered and best practices are learned. A strategic plan is a living, breathing document and will mature and morph over time. If a strategic plan covers a 3 to 5 year period, it might change as clubs are handed current situations. And I think that 2020 is a perfect example of how action plans have to adapt and change. What we're doing today, how we're raising money, how we're allocating funds, and even how we're meeting, that's all changed from last year because people just have to kind of roll with the punches.
Take action. By helping to realize the goals of this plan, you ensure a stronger and even more effective future for Rotary, a tremendous legacy. Remember, every Rotarian helped build the Rotary International Action Plan. The action plan will strengthen Rotary so that together we can act boldly to help make the world better for generations to come.
So here's our contact information one more time. Please know that we're here to help you. And if we don't have the answers to your questions, we'll make sure that we find the person who does. So thank you so much for listening to us and for being here this evening.
Great job. Great job. I know that was a lot to absorb. There's a lot of information in there. We do have in our district several clubs that are going through some strategic planning process. One of the things I'll mention is in one particular club, they've asked for help from a moderator outside of the district to help them in there, which helps as well. So that you've got lots of people that are in our state that are great Rotarians that can come in with a fresh new look of and look at the issues that your club may be looking at from a strategic plan side on there. Deborah, you have any comments on strategic?
That was very good. I know it's a lot, but as I stated before, some of you have accomplished this and don't realize it. It's just a matter of putting it on paper, exercising it, and making sure that we follow through and keep it going. Because like as Lisa said, it is a living, breathing document and it can change and it should change because we're ever changing. So thank you, Brian and Lisa. Outstanding.
Yeah, good job.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Does anyone have any questions? You can unmute yourself. Go ahead, Michael.
It's just interesting being in business and being, part of the Riverview Chamber Board of Directors and, being in Rotary. What is it that brought Rotary to come up with a strategic plan? Like we've never talked about this in the 10 years I've been in Rotary. We've never talked about strategic plans. What sparked this?
What? You want to take that, Andy, or?
yeah, I mean, Rotary's gone through a lot of changes.
Mm-hmm.
We've got obvious problems with membership. The biggest problem we have with membership is keeping the members. We attract the members, they just go out the back door quicker than they come in the front door. We've had a little bit of identity crisis happening here with Rotary. We've got great success overseas in many areas, but then here in the United States and Europe, we've kind of lost our way. From a business networking side, we kind of went over and said, no, it's service above self, and everybody kind of focused on service side. We're a service organization. I was reading on the Council of Legislation today where they're going to add in one of the purposes of Rotary is personal development, personal and professional development on there. We see our attraction and relationship with Toastmasters coming in. So with Rotary, for me and my personal experience with Rotary, I got way more out of Rotary than I gave. I'm a very different business person than I was 20 years ago when I started Rotary. The funny thing about leadership is leadership. You can read about it, you can listen to books on it, you can go to conferences on it, but until you exercise leadership in there, like we're doing right here tonight, you really don't get a chance to be a leader. So focusing on having a refocusing on who we are as Rotary in general, I think was their emphasis around trying to get this strategic plan there to reemphasize it, because you've got people that are mired down in the old ways of doing things. And we need to look at it with a different lens than we have in the past.
And if I can add to that, to what Andy is saying, Michael, yes, I've been in Rotary a little bit longer than you have, okay? And I remember when I first came in Rotary, they didn't have any plan in reality, you know, and everybody know, well, not everybody know, but majority of you know that I have a military background, and we've always had long range, a short range plan, or you could say a near term plan or a long range plan. That wasn't for Rotary. They did not have that. They didn't have I mean, you know, we did the 4-way test, we did this and did that, but we have evolved with time. And I see that. And so the strategic plan at this point in time is really for the future. It's some of the things are what you're doing now, but we're saying, okay, we're looking down the road for another 3 or 5 years. Where do we want to be? What do we want to do? And how are we going to be effective in the world? And you know, if you go to Charity Navigation, we're at the top of the list. We're at the top of our game, and we're only going to get better. But we have to have a strategic plan as to how we're going to do business. And and as Andy mentioned about the membership, bringing members in and getting them involved. So that's why I'm telling you, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I never heard them talk about strategic plan. Never. Any other questions? You're welcome, Michael. Any other questions?
Linda has one.
Yeah, Linda.
I don't have a question, but I do have a statement. And Brian brought up a very good point of when he was the president and they offered the 10 minutes for a member to get up each week and talk about themselves. I did something similar when I was the president. I had a member of the week and actually had a little bio that they filled out, and I had it on each table with their picture. They would stand up and talk about themselves. And we increased membership so much that year because people love to be recognized, whether they think they do or they don't. They love to be recognized. And the people in the club got to know each other so much better through that exercise. So it's just something I'm throwing out there for the other clubs that may be interested in doing something like that. It never hurts to recognize your people, let them recognize themselves in front of the group, and it helps with retention.
It does. You're absolutely right. Any other questions?
That was a great idea.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
Like I said, once again, thank you, Lisa and Brian. Okay, Andy, at this time, we want to talk about the governor's award.
yeah, speaking about being recognized. Talking about being recognized, she was right on point there to lead into our next topic. And by the way, our goal tonight is to get done in less than 2 hours.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
So I know it's a long meeting. We're just going to kind of start clipping along here.
Yes. Okay, next slide. Okay. You know, as we give go with you all know who we are, but I'm going to briefly mention about, and I'm not going to insult anybody's intelligence. First of all, I want you to ignore the June 30th, 2022 date in there. Andy and I discussed this. We have decided how we want to award or recognize Rotarians, because Linda mentioned, she said this, we all want to be recognized. And that's important because you're including everybody. You're making sure everybody is people know who you are, what they're doing, or what people are doing. So what we decided, this is how we're going to do our awards and recognition program as district governors when we become district governors. And the reason why I said disregard the June 30th, 2022 date is because of the fact right now we're still in the pandemic. We don't know what holds in our future. And so we're going to have to adjust accordingly when we're talking about, when we're preparing to give awards and things like that, we're going to have to adjust. So you all will be recognized. But keep in mind, whatever awards we decide to give, trust me, you will always have to fulfill your obligation for the Rotary citation. Once you fulfill your obligation for Rotary citation, then that's when our awards come into play also. So these are in addition to the Rotary citation, okay? But the date that you see down there, June 30th, 2021, when we're basing when we're looking at the club sizes, yes, we'll use that date because Rotary International will provide us your membership information on that date. So when we take our position 1 July 2021, we will know exactly what your club sizes are, and then we can govern ourselves accordingly at that time. Okay, Andy.
So a lot of times, here's the problem I had as a club president, because I didn't pay attention. And I can guarantee you 80% of your PEs are not going to pay attention. The difference between the Rotary citation and the Governor's Award is real simple. Rotary citation is driven by the information that gets put into Rotary.org, Rotary Club Central. All right, so those, I know some of you are club presidents this year or recent club presidents on this call. That's going to drive the goals and information on that. A lot of governors in the past have used spreadsheets to track with numbers and points and things like that. Deborah and I says, we don't want to do that on there. So to qualify for the Governor's Award, you've got to do the Rotary citation first, which means all the stuff on the Rotary citation on there. Deborah?
Okay, next slide, please. These are other awards that Andy and I looked at. And we realized that some clubs are unique as well as Rotarians. And so within our individual districts. So we have these other awards that we may award. We're not saying that these are all the awards that we're going to give, but these are awards that we are considering because Rotarians are unique. Rotarians are just phenomenal people, and they are people of action, and we realize that. And we would be remiss if we didn't recognize those stellar performers. And I know we have them. I see them each and every day. And we appreciate you all, so we want to recognize you all. Okay, and if you notice down there, most outstanding Rotaract Club, as well as most outstanding Interact Club. We need to include them because they're part of us. They're part of the family. Andy?
Right, so there's other district awards we'll have too, right? So District Governor's Leadership Award. We're probably going to have an AG award as well during our year. So we have speech contests. There's other awards out there. So it's not limited, like Deborah said, it's not limited to this, but it's certainly awards that we can look to. You're our right arms, right? Our AGs, we rely on you a lot. So as we look at these, as you go throughout the district and find people that have really done some significant things in the district, we're relying on you to bring that information back to us because we can't really see in all places.
And at some point in time, we have the Governor's Award form. So we will provide you a form so you know what we're looking for. So we know what what needs to be focused on. So when you're able to come to us and say, well, you know, one of my clubs is doing this in club and administration services, we will have that information. And believe me, on the form, when the club fills out the form, they will put the club name, the president has to sign it, and the assistant governor will sign it. And that form is returned back to us. So that will assist us in the process of presenting awards to the correct people and the correct club. Thank you.
Any questions about awards? Pretty
I'm
straightforward.
surprised, Michael, you don't have nothing to say. Okay, at this time, we're doing good. At this time, I would like to introduce Larry Becker. He will be speaking to us. He's a camera kind of guy. He's telling you what you need to look like on the camera. That is his expertise. Zoom is not his expertise. Hybrid is not his expertise, but his expertise is telling you how you need to look on the camera, how you present yourself, what's good, what's not so good. You know, yeah, Michael, okay, we know about the raise, okay? Okay, so take it away, Larry. Thank you.
Thank you so much, District Governor-elect Deborah. I'm really happy to do this, and I want to give you a little bit of background and tell you why I do what I do, and then hopefully see how it might help you frame what you do and come across just a little bit better. How many of you, go ahead and show of hands, how many of you have ever been on a date? Show of hands. Okay. How many of you have ever been on a job interview? Okay. And how many of you have ever been a kid? Anybody ever been a kid? Okay. So there are a lot of things that you already know intuitively, but you just don't translate it into video. Now, I've been on video for close to 3 decades, and I've done all kinds of things. I've done recorded training, stuff that I cringe about when I look back at what I used to do. And then I've been on the National Association of Broadcasters convention as an official host for like 3 or 4 years in Las Vegas. And I even hosted their virtual convention this year. I host conventions regularly for another company here in Central Florida about every other month. And I do an awful lot on video. So with that background, plus my background as a communications major, where I learned a lot about communications, nonverbal communications, that didn't really necessarily apply to video, but now it kind of does. So what I want to tell you about are things that you can do to come across better, more professional, more likable, more believable when you're on camera. And I'm also going to tell you some of the reasons why you look bad, you sound bad, certain things don't come across good. And it can be on a subconscious level, and it just reduces your credibility just slightly. Now, as leaders in Rotary or anybody leading a meeting on video, it always helps if you start at the higher level. And then if you do a few things wrong, well, people are more forgiving. But if you sound terrible right up front and you look terrible right up front, you're already really low on the ladder. And now your presentation has to be fantastic for you to get built back up in people's thought process. This presentation actually came out of something that I did that I had no idea COVID was coming. I had no idea Zoom meetings were going to explode. What I did was, I've been on camera, as I said, for about 3 decades. And in the past year and a half, I wrote a book, and it's called Great on Camera. Now, I wrote Great on Camera to help people who are presenters, who are in business, who need to do presentation or training videos about their business, be better on camera. And it happened to come out in April. And I'm like, this is unbelievable. So I did an 8-minute tips and tricks video about how to be better on Zoom. And that was just kind of, hey, here's how to be better on Zoom. By the way, I wrote a book, Great on Camera. Go to greatoncamera.com. So it was just my way to promote what I was doing. And I put it out on Facebook and a couple other places. Well, USA Today picked it up because they were just dying for information about how to be better on Zoom meetings, because Zoom meetings, as you know, have exploded and everybody wants to be better on Zoom. So right now, even if you go to Google and you Google Zoom Larry Becker, that video shows up. So you can watch that video and see the little tips and tricks in 8 minutes. That's pretty much what I cover in this presentation as well. But there's also a little behind the scenes and tips and tricks, and you're welcome to ask any questions. And if after all this wraps up and you go, man, I really need to improve my lighting, I need to get a better mic, I need to do certain things to make my video presentation better for my clients, for, outside Rotary, for meetings and interaction that you're having, I'm more than happy to help you. And as a fellow Rotarian, I'm super happy to help you for nothing. I'm not going to charge you for this. I just want to help my fellow Rotarians. Shoot me an email. My email address is larry@lbecker.com. So, and I'll try and remember to say that again at the end, larry@lbecker.com. All right. So a couple of the things that you want to consider when you're starting out on camera. The first thing is web cameras are terrible. Built-in web cameras in computers are terrible. Webcams inside smartphones are a little bit better. Right now, I am using actually a pretty high-end DSLR camera hooked up through my computer using some special software. And if you're interested in that, I could help you do it. Not everybody has to do that. But let me point this out. When you're using just a plain old webcam, the webcam has a wide angle lens. They just do. And as a result, you're automatically going to look worse than you deserve. It starts us out looking bad. Wide angle lenses. Think of a fisheye lens and how a fisheye lens distorts and makes us look rounder and more balloony than we deserve. Well, that's what wide angle cameras do. And so I've coached some people through improving with just one little addition of software. And this works on Macs and on PCs, but you add a little bit of software and then you can put your camera a little further away. And then you actually digitally zoom in on your face more. So if you get really close to a wide angle lens, you get round and distorted. You get back from that wide angle lens, you are undistorted, but you're too small. And so you use this software, a number of pieces of software, and you can zoom in and now you look normal. And the reason that I look more normal on this video image right now is because I have a higher end camera that's further away. It's probably 5 feet away from me right now. And it allows me to look less round and distorted. Next thing that you need to understand is the camera position is really important. Remember when I asked you if you were ever a kid? Here's what I remember about being a kid. Everybody was taller than me. I always looked up at everybody. They're always looking down on me. And when they're looking down on me, I feel smaller and lesser. Now, this is a psychological thing. We all grew up with this. So think about this. If your camera is down on the desk in front of you and looking up, you have all kinds of bad things going on mentally, potentially with your audience. Now, granted, everybody gets it. We're on a Zoom call. I'm not going to set up special high-end studio lighting and cameras. Fine, but you can do a little bit to look a lot better. And one of the things that you want to do is get your camera up to eye level. Now, if you think about it, when you're eye to eye, when you're making direct eye contact with somebody, you have their attention and they have yours. And you're making a much better connection by looking directly into the camera at eye level than looking down. You're not getting the nasal exam. You're not getting the under chin amplified. I hate this. I hate this. I don't do anything in profile. I don't like that about me. but I know that about me and I don't like it. The whole reason that I've even grown this much of the fuzz on my face is just to hide. Yeah. So I do everything I can to try and be at a better position, but that direct eye contact, man, that is so important. And I asked you about going into a job interview or on a date. When you're on a date or in a job interview, you're making direct eye contact. You have credibility. If you're in a job interview and you're saying, yeah, you know, I was thinking about that when I worked at my last job, you look distracted. You don't look credible. You don't look involved or engaged. And when you're making direct eye contact with the camera and it's eye level contact, you're on the same level as your audience. They're on the same level as you. You're not looking down at them. They're not looking up at you. Now, one that's a little bit better, but still not great, is the camera being up high. We see this a lot on beauty vloggers and selfies from the millennials these days. They put the camera up high and shoot down low at themselves. And it's a little bit better. It's more flattering to the face. But again, now you're the person being looked down upon. You're the little kid. The other person is in that position of authority. So the way to be on par with your audience is just try and be straight eye level. Now, the next thing you need to think about is lighting. Lots of things can go bad with lighting. The first thing that you'll want to do, and I coach a lot of people into this, is eliminate, especially behind you, eliminate backlight. So I see a lot of people going, hey, my backyard looks awesome. My sliding glass door back here, it's great. And people will want to look outside at the pool or the backyard and the beautiful green. Sorry, it's not going to happen. They can't see it. The problem is cameras can see a range of light, and there's like this huge range of light, but cameras can see this much at once. They can see this really bright stuff. They can see the really dark stuff. They can see the stuff in the middle. But if you're back behind you, if you have an open window or door and it's looking outdoors and it's sunshine in Florida and you're in a room, what will happen is they call it keys out. It turns bright white. It's all blown out white and it doesn't look good. Nobody can see it anyway. And it also then makes you really shady, and you don't want to be shady. So you want to make sure that the backlight is not super bright. So get in an environment where you can control your light. Now, I'm in my office right now. Right there is a set of blinds to an outdoor view. I love the view. I live in Florida. I love my view. I always shut those blinds because if I have light coming in, certainly during the 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock hour, the light comes in, hits the side of my face. It's way too bright. And I've got an example of that I'm going to show you real shortly. But I want to get back to the lighting that you can control and what you're looking for. What you want to do is have brighter light really close to the camera and slightly off to the side. And if you can, because of your setup, if you can have your brighter light just off to the side of the camera, either side or both sides, and slightly up, that's the best, because light coming down like this, and I have some studio lights set up in my office, but I've got a light up there and a light up there, and they're pointing down at me this way, and it lights my face evenly. And the reason that that's good is now I don't have a really dark shadow on one side. It's really easy for me to set it up. I look evenly lit on both sides, and you can see into my eye sockets. Now, maybe you go, well, it's really great in my kitchen. My kitchen's nice and bright. That's where I want to go. The problem is if your kitchen overhead light are those can lights and they're shining straight down, now all of a sudden you've got these dark circles, and you get the raccoon look where you've got the dark eyes. And so what you want to do is have even lighting on your face. Now, I am also old. I am self-conscious of my old. I've worn contacts since I was 18. So every single day of my life, since I was 18, I put in my contact lenses like this. I push my thumb on the bottom of my eye socket. As a result of that, I have these, probably my age too, I have these patches under my eyes, these bags under my eyes. I don't like it. It's not something that I want to show off. So I have found a slight cure for that. Let me show you what I do. I've got a little light like this. I turned it off for you. This little light is really inexpensive on Amazon, and I put it on the desk in front of me. And you see, there's a couple of things going on. You see these bags under my eyes? See those? You're supposed to nod. Let me know. Yeah. Okay. So you see the bags under my eyes. What I do is I turn on this light down here and it kind of lights up the bottom of my face a little bit. Not a lot. I don't want to go crazy. Okay. So just a little bit. And then I look directly at the camera, and I found another thing that takes away these bags under my eyes is if I smile. And I love to smile on camera because it increases your credibility, it increases your likability, and it reduces the bags under my eyes. All right, next up, I want to talk to you about audio. Audio is critical. You do not need a podcasting microphone. I happen to have a microphone like this because I've done podcasts for a bunch of years. But all you need is a microphone that is not the one built into your computer. The one built into your computer, even the one built into your phone, is not great. Now, the phone ones are getting better, but anything that's at a little bit of a distance from you, excuse me, you get room echo and you get a little bit of a distant sound. And I can tell you that in the years that I have been on video and created video, 30 years I've been doing this, the most important aspect of video is good audio, because people will put up with a little bit dark or a little bit hard to see if they can hear what you're saying, if they can understand what you're communicating. So the most important thing is audio. Now, it doesn't have to be expensive. And I've actually got a little microphone here that I can show you. This microphone is really great because it's a lapel microphone. So I can clip it on my shirt. You can clip it on a shirt, blouse, up near the top, somewhere within this distance of your mouth. Okay. So you clip it up there. It's got a little capsule. So it's got 3 feet of cord and then a little capsule. And on that capsule, there's a flip switch. And the flip switch says off/smartphone. So if you plug this into a smartphone, you leave it in that off position because the smartphone will understand and power the microphone automatically. However, if you plug it into a camera or probably your computer, you need to flip it up. Okay. And so there's a little battery in here. This thing, $20. And it makes you sound so much better than the built-in audio of your camera or your smartphone. And like I said just now, you can use it with your smartphone. It's a 20-foot cable. So your camera can be kind of far away from you. And I've used this for recording videos for a lot of years, and it sounds very professional. It sounds studio quality. That one is called the Movo LV1. And there's also another one from a company called Polson that you can get on B&H. This is the kind of stuff where you go, Larry, don't bore me with that. I'll just send you an email. My email address is larry@lbecker.com. So if you want to know about, hey, what was that little $20 mic? Can you send me a link? Happy to do it. Next up, I want to talk to you about a problem with audio that happens now and then, and it's echo. And there are 2 kinds of echo. The first kind of echo might have to do with your Zoom meeting or your Skype call or the software that's working and how you have your audio set up. It can create a loop. So you've got audio coming out of your computer, and then the audio coming out of your computer gets picked up by your microphone and fed back into the computer. And that's where you get that scream or feedback. If you've got that kind of thing, most of the time, and the good news is Zoom can handle that. Zoom knows how to cancel it out. So it's fine. But there are some meetings, video meetings you might do, and you've got that as a problem. So the cure is you plug in headphones, and the headphones will cause that feedback loop to go away. The other possibility is you can have a kind of echo called room echo. Now, room echo happens when your microphone is a little bit far away from you and you have hard floors, hard desk, hard walls, hard ceiling, no carpeting, nothing to absorb the echoing sound in the room. And it's amplified. This problem is amplified if the microphone that you're using is not a lapel or a lavalier mic or a boom mic like I'm using right now. If the mic is farther away from you, then the problem is amplified because your sound has to go over to the microphone and it's bouncing off everything hard on the way. So you get that room echo. It's a hollow sound, and the quality reduction in sound can be a problem to having you heard. You want to be heard. You're trying to conduct a meeting. You're trying to be heard. And if you're distant echoey, if your sound is a problem, that can be cured with that $20 microphone. You may need an adapter. The adapters, I think, are $8 or $9. You may need an adapter for your computer if you don't have an audio jack directly into your computer, but that kind of thing will be a little bit better. Okay, next up, clothing. This isn't a big deal, but if you can, try to avoid patterns. The problem with tight patterns like checks and really thin stripes is they do this interference thing with your camera, and it kind of makes you look vibraty, and it can be distracting and take people away from your actual message. Now this next thing, and I told you I was going to show you some pictures. I've got a couple pictures here. This next thing has to do with what most of us have to put up with, and that is our webcams try to do something called auto exposure. And most webcams don't have software control over the exposure. Now, I've got a camera set up, so I've got control over my exposure, and it's not going to be too bright, too dark, that kind of thing. So I've got my lighting set up, I've got my camera set up. My camera doesn't make me look too red or too orange or too blue or anything like that. So I've got more camera control. But with a webcam, you don't have those kinds of controls. So what you have to do is you have to inflict environmental changes to make the webcam, to force it to make you look good. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to start off with a picture that is as bad as you can look on camera. And that is this picture. Okay. This is as bad as I can look. I've got my outside window shades open. So you see the side of my face is really bright. They call it blown out. That really bright blown out look is coming from outdoors. Then I have uneven light hitting all over on my face here. I've got a shine on my forehead. There's another problem. So let me tell you a little bit of a problem that happens with shine. When you have a shine like this, it looks a little bit like you're sweating. Not a lot. It's just a little subconscious thing. Nobody looks at an image like that. Nobody looks at you shiny and says, oh, they're shiny. They must be sweating, and therefore they're not telling the truth, and therefore they're not trustworthy. And we don't make these conscious connections, but subconsciously we do. If you see somebody that acts nervous when they're talking, that seems nervous, that looks sweaty, then you subconsciously go, I'm not exactly sure I trust this person. I don't know why, but they look a little untrustworthy, and it's because of that shiny. Okay. And it's unfortunately because of what cameras do to us. They make us shiny. So let me show you my cure. This, and I'm going to show you that. Can you read that? I don't use CoverGirl makeup. I use CoverMan. I'm kidding. There's no such thing as CoverMan. That's my label maker. But what I do is I put on a little bit of that powder just to knock down the shine. And I even have a little shine coming back right now. So I probably should put on some more powder. But the thing that you want to do is eliminate the shine any way you can. And I use just a little bit of powder. And trust me, as a guy who growing up, my dad never wore makeup. My mom wore makeup. It took a little bit of a mental jump for me to start wearing makeup. I just went into Walgreens and I said, can I have some foundation powder that matches this? And they said, yeah, here's what you need. And I got it and walked away. That's easy enough. Okay. So back to that really bad picture. There's more stuff going on here. You remember I told you, you don't want the camera low. You're looking up my nose right here. You're looking at the part of my chin I hate. You are also, I guess, if I'm having a doctor meeting with my ENT, this would be appropriate. But other than that, I don't want you looking up my nose like this. I don't like my eyes being in the shade like this. That is a bad picture. The other thing that I have going on here is something I call balloon head. I've got the big round balloon head because I've got a wide angle lens and I'm really close to it. So what I did, and this was actually an image that I shot for the article they wrote up in USA Today. So then what I did was I got this other image. Now, this is better. Here's what I'm doing. I've got a webcam. So with the webcam, I can't really control the exposure and the color adjustment and things like that. This looks better because the camera's further away from me. My face is a more normal shape, and the lighting on my face is better. Not great though. You see how I still look kind of off, and I look kind of, just there's something wrong about how I look. And I also have this really bright halo behind me. So let me tell you what's happening. My lighting in the room is essentially the same as the picture I'm about to show you. My lighting in the room was nice and even and balanced and hitting my face correctly. But because I have on a dark shirt and I have a dark chair, the camera is trying to balance everything. It doesn't say, oh, there's a human face, I should balance for the human face and make the human face look good. It's just saying, overall, the total amount of light that's coming into this, I need to balance it out this way. And so what I had to do to even get myself to look somewhat decent is I had to crank up that backlight to make the lighting look normal-ish, so that my shirt could actually, you see a little bit of texture in my shirt there, but not a lot. The reason is because the shirt is so dark, I had to crank up the backlight just to get my overall light to look good. And this still isn't good, but let me show you. The only thing I changed in the next image you're about to see, the only thing I changed is my shirt. Check this out. Looks better, doesn't it? Now, the reason is because my shirt is much lighter. I turned the light down in the background. My shirt is lighter. The camera then, my webcam, tries to look at the overall image and give me a nice, even, balanced exposure. And because my shirt is nice and bright in this case, my skin tones look more normal. My exposure overall looks more normal. The background behind me looks more normal. So that's the difference. So let me show you the bad one again. That's the bad one. And then just changed shirts, and I end up with this. So you can do that with your own webcam. What you can do is just grab a few shirts, just hold it in front of you, set up your lighting the best you can in your environment, then hold a shirt in front of you. Does this look better? Does this look better? And I do that sometimes. And notice I'm wearing a lighter colored shirt because I want kind of a balance in the exposure in the room. That's pretty much what I have for you. There are a couple other little tips. One final tip that I want to wrap up with is, there's something in cameras that actually mechanically somehow reduces the amount of smile you think you are giving off. And if you want to be likable on camera, if you want to be approachable, if you want to be friendly, if you want to come across as smart, as confident, as really knowing what you're doing, a smile is really important. So good audio, eye contact with that camera at eye level, and a smile, you're going to be better than 99% of the people out there doing Zoom meetings. I watch TV reporters reporting from their home, and they've got the up the nose shot and the stuff too close to the camera. They don't know. And that's why they hire the people at the TV studios to set up all the nice lighting and the nice audio. They don't know what they're doing wrong. They don't know why they look so bad or sound so bad on camera. And there are a lot of things that you can do, but the main thing is you need to smile. And I'll leave you with this. I was walking through a room, the family room, and my wife was watching some awards show, and it was on a weekend, and this awards show was presented by this guy, no audience, and he's just there on camera talking about these awards, and he's smiling like an idiot. He's just got this big grin, and he's just smiling and presenting. And I'm like, man, what is he smiling about? My wife goes, what are you talking about? She was engaged with the presentation, with the awards show, with whatever. But there was a big smile on this guy. Now, I've been presenting on camera for years. In fact, at the time, I had a job in Tampa with a company where I was actually on camera twice a week, doing camera gear reviews for the biggest camera retailer in the world, B&H Photo. So I'm doing these reviews, and I've got a team of like 8 or 9 people, and they've all seen me on camera twice a week for years, 2 years, 3 years. And I walked in after having seen that show over the weekend where the guy was just smiling really big. I did exactly everything I had been doing for 2 years only this time I smiled the whole time. As I'm delivering my script, I'm smiling the whole time, making eye contact with the camera and smiling. And I didn't tell anybody I was doing anything different. Nobody knew I was smiling. It was crazy. But my team goes, man, you are so much better on camera today. Did you go to a seminar this weekend? What's the deal? How come you're so much better? Then they edited the video, sent it up to New York to B&H Photo, and they looked at it, and the whole crew up there was like, man, whatever you guys are doing, I don't know if you have different camera settings. I don't know if the audio is different, but something is better. Becker is so much better on camera now. Just keep doing whatever you're doing. And it was my smile. So if I can convey only one thing, smile a whole lot. And I hope it helps you out in what you're doing. Like I said, I'm going to repeat one last time. My email address is larry@lbecker.com. Each and every one of you are more than welcome to contact me. I'm happy to set up a private Skype meeting or a Zoom meeting so you and I can talk. I'm happy to help you improve your lighting in your environment, improve your camera setup, talk to you about those little software tricks and tips that you can move the camera back and then zoom in. And whatever it's going to take to help you feel better on camera, deliver better on camera, get your message across, and be a more effective Rotarian, a more effective leader on camera, I'm happy to do that. Now, the last thing I have to tell you is I won't answer your email tomorrow. I'm on vacation. So for 5 days, I'm gone after tonight. But other than that, I'm happy to help my fellow Rotarians. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm happy to answer.
Wow.
Wow. Good job, Larry.
Thank
Yes,
you.
indeed. Thank you, Larry. We appreciate that.
My pleasure. Thank you for the invitation. I appreciate that.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Okay. Any
There's
questions,
a-
anyone?
There's a whole lot ahead here, Larry. I don't know what to do with that.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Ken.
Yeah, I have a question, Larry.
I mean,
What do you recommend that we do not put behind us?
You know
What
what?
kind of background would you suggest?
Yeah. So there are a couple things that you don't want behind you. One of them is things that create and send back a reflection. So like a big bookcase behind you with glass doors or something, that could be a problem. Now you can, if you tinker with the lighting, you can set up your lighting so you don't get a reflection, but you can put lots of books. I have bricks behind me. You could put a plain wall, just a plain white wall, green wall, anything like that. You can buy studio backdrops for very cheap. I'll direct you to cheap ones if you want. So that's easy enough to do. You can put pretty much whatever you want behind you, but just don't have it be busy. The reason is because if you've got something behind you that's busy or a door that people are walking in and out of, so you're holding a Rotary meeting and you got kids walking in and out of doors behind you, that can be a little distracting. I mean, yes, we're friends and yes, we all get it. We're on lockdown. I mean, we're not meeting in person these days, but certainly a simple background is fine. You can have a bookcase or framed things behind you. That's fine. But just try not to be distracting, because what you'll see as you're conducting your meetings is that people are listening to you at first, and then they're like this. What is that? And they're looking at stuff behind you. So don't have anything that's terribly distracting, and I think you'll be okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Larry, what do you think about the virtual backgrounds that are in Zoom, or the ability to add your own pictures?
They're okay. I don't prefer them though, because they can be distracting. So one of the things that I do, and I did all day for the past 2.5 days, I've been editing the video that Sarah Grossbarth and current District Governor Mark are doing together. And then I put that all together. Well, District Governor Mark does do the virtual background, but there are problems. So he'll, like talk with his hands, which is great, talking with your hands. But as soon as he does that, his hand disappears, it comes back. It's another one of those things that if you have too distracting of a background behind you, people start paying attention to that instead of you and your content. The problem with the virtual backgrounds in Zoom specifically is, unless you start off with an absolutely plain background behind you and you have some really good lighting in your environment, Zoom does the best that it can with artificial intelligence, but you turn like this and all of a sudden your ear disappears and turns into the background. And does anybody have any doubt that you're not really there in the Bahamas? No, there's no question. You are in your home, in your, it's kind of up to you. But what I would say is, if you can get away from it somehow, it will cause less of a distraction and give you more direct attention from your audience than when you have the virtual backgrounds turned on. When you do, and you're a presenter. Now, if you're not going to present at all in a meeting, I'll show you, I'll show you something. Maybe some of you even noticed that I did this. Let me show you one thing I did. Check this out. Okay, so this is me right now. This is a video of me. It's a 2-minute long video that plays in a constant loop of me paying attention and smiling a little bit in my current office environment. Now, what's cool about this is right now, as I'm speaking, I'm taking a drink of water. Here's my little water bottle. Okay. Right now I'm scratching my nose. I'm rubbing my chin. Now, what's really cool about that is you don't know that I'm doing that stuff. So I attend Rotary meetings. I throw that thing up there and I'm over here doing push-ups on the office floor. I'm doing other stuff like that. That's cheating, but I like doing that kind of stuff. So there are things like that that you can do. And like I said, if we end up doing a direct one-on-one, like a Skype meeting or a Zoom meeting, and I'm able to help you out, I'm happy to show you how to do these things. Now this, I'm really good at Mac software and the setup on my Mac. On PCs, I'm not as good. I know some names of software that could potentially help you do those kinds of things, but I'm not fantastic at that. But there are little tips and tricks like that that you can do and leverage to your advantage. And I'm happy to help my fellow Rotarians do that. Any other quick questions?
Can I ask one more? Do you have any tips for doing the hybrid meetings where you're trying to make it interesting for the people who are Zooming in, but you're shooting a whole room?
That's a challenge. And the reason I say that is because I don't do the hybrid meetings myself. I don't participate in any of those. And so what I would say is whoever is managing the Zoom side of your meeting behind the scenes, be really active in the chat. Keep those people engaged and let them know that they're actually part of the meeting, and just participate at a next level in the chat as much as possible. The other possibility, and this is a little bit harder, but it kind of depends on the camera setup that's available where you're filming from. If you just have one camera and it's at a distance at the back of an auditorium and it's filming the whole room wide and you've got nothing else going on and nothing, they call it a switcher where it would actually change between multiple camera views. If you don't have anything that high tech and you've just got that distant thing, maybe what you do is set up a microphone and go over and talk to the camera every once in a while, or take 2 minutes, or have a couple Rotarians. I mean, we're talking in this meeting how to feature fellow Rotarians for a 7 or 10 minute presentation. Well, maybe some of those Rotarians that are in a live in-person meeting talking to a hybrid meeting could go over to your stationary camera and talk to that for just a little bit and say, hey, I just want to talk to you just a little bit while everybody's over there getting food, and then talk to the people that are sitting at home and say, I hope you're enjoying things. Make sure you participate in the chat and do some of those kinds of things. It's a tough environment.
Yeah, it is. Thank you. Thank you.
And
Sure.
Debbie, Andy's going to address that in a minute or two about the hybrid. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And that's something that we will post in Database in your files. Okay. And yes, Leslie, I agree. You all have the hybrid format in your New Tampa club. So, I mean, some clubs in our district are doing the hybrid, which is fantastic, but we're going to address that in a hot second. But Larry, thank you so much.
Awesome.
My pleasure.
Great. That was fantastic.
Great job.
And I see in the chat that somebody asked, Mallory asked if I could be a speaker for the club to teach Rotarians how to be better on Zoom. Happy to do that. I've done a few Zoom meetings already. I started with our club in Lakeland. I've done one over in Winter Haven, I think, just around Greater Tampa Bay. Happy to help any fellow Rotarians anytime I can, except for the next 5 days when I'm going to be in Tybee Island, Georgia. It's going to be cool. I've never been there. My wife picked out an Airbnb and I can't wait to go there.
Have fun.
Thank you
Yes,
very much.
indeed. Enjoy yourself. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now at this point, do I sign off?
You can if you so
Okay.
desire. Yes,
Hey,
you can.
hey, Larry, before you go, I sent you
Yeah.
an email, so you're not off the hook until tomorrow morning.
Okay, I'll go check my emails right away, Mike.
Okay. Take care, Larry. Thank
Thanks.
you. Okay, Andy, do
right.
you have anything to share with our audience?
We're marching along here. We promise not to be too much longer.
We got a few more minutes.
So we have some slides we put together. Deborah originally kicked this off, and it's been like, you know, pulling back and forth on a bone here. So it's been a group effort to put some things together on Zoom. Deborah, we didn't rehearse this. Do you want to?
No, and please, everyone understand, and you can keep going through the slides, Andy. Please understand, this is just basic, Zoom basic 101, I call it, okay? But I do want to highlight, Andy will lose the bone fight with Deborah. Okay, thanks, Michael. But one thing I want to stress, virtual meeting, the etiquette. Please, please, no pajamas. We got to stay professional. I know it's hard and I know it's difficult, and we do virtual hugs, but we love to be in person. But we record everything. This is very important. And so we just need to be the professionals that we are at all times on Zoom. But like I said, we put this together. These are, Andy added the commandments. Well, I could say it's the 10 commandments of Zoom. And like I said, this is reference slides that you can share with your PEs, that you can share with your own clubs. And it's very, very important that you follow this. And if you have questions, naturally, we're always available to answer your questions. But this is important stuff, because you know what? This is the new normal right now. Now, we might get out of this and go to another level, but this is just the basic information for you on Zoom.
Yeah, so a lot of this is review for many of you, right? How
Yes,
to log in, how to join a meeting, right? The difference between a free meeting and a paid meeting, you know, how to set up your settings, basic settings in Zoom, how to mute, how to stop your video. Most of us know this already, but I guarantee you from the hybrid meetings I'm seeing now, they're still struggling, some of our members out there, to even get the basics down.
And something else I want to say, you know, some of our AGs have older club members or older clubs, older members, older Rotarians. And sometimes they're a little afraid, sometimes they're a little apprehensive about going on Zoom. And as John and I were having a discussion earlier, he has, well, really it's one of Olivia's club presidents, but I told her, as well as John and Olivia, they will assist her to get on Zoom next week when she needs to be on Zoom on October 28th. So it's incumbent upon us to assist our presidents and our club members how to be involved in Zoom. And that's why we also are looking at the hybrid. New Tampa club, that the AG over there is Leslie Sajak, and they have already started with the hybrid concept. And so Leslie's a resource that you AGs can go to find out how it's working.
So security, you know, Zoom has kind of tightened security down a little bit more, which adds friction to some of this process. You may or may not notice this, but I'm the host of this meeting. I immediately made Deborah co-host. You can make as many co-hosts as you want. I made Lisa co-host, Brian co-host, Neil co-host in there, because as I get busy, I may not be able to omit somebody right away, or if I need to mute or unmute people, right? Remember commandment 1, mute thyself if you're not speaking. So be aware, right? Especially now, we still have incidents with people doing things thinking their video is muted when it is not, right? A CNN guy just got fired because he thought his video was muted and it wasn't.
He not only video, but even his camera.
Yeah. So just last week in my district, I'm watching a meeting and the spouse changed their clothes in the back of the video.
Yes.
Right? It was just down to underwear, thank God, but still it was, you know, not too embarrassing and just kind of passed on. So be reactive, be prepared. I remember David Stovall, we had the zone meeting going on, and this was back in April, I think. And somebody hijacked that meeting.
Yep.
We took the whiteboard on there. I think, Deborah, you were on that meeting.
Yes, indeed.
And they drew a male phallus on the whiteboard. And we had RI directors, RI presidents, past presidents, all the governors. And the only thing, you know, it could have been easy just to kick the person out, but David Stovall, our director, the only thing he knew how to do was stop the meeting. He just ended the meeting. So have your Zoom sergeants, right?
Yes.
They're ready to mute people and remove somebody from the meeting. You can also report that user to Zoom as well for doing bad things on there. But we're an open organization, right? So there was a part in here about registering for meetings. A meeting like this probably would be great to register at. A club meeting, too much friction, right? We don't close the doors to our club meetings. We're inviting people. We want people to be engaged with us. So we want to greet them, talk to them. Immediately, if you see somebody new on Zoom, usually what I'll do is I'll chat with them a little bit. Hey, how are you? Who are you? No different than if you were to meet a new person in your Rotary Club meeting that they came in. Copy meeting invitations. Use your Zoom sergeants on here. Here's your virtual backgrounds. This space is changing rapidly. Snap camera. I kind of played with that early on, but it's so distracting to, you know, I can look like a Viking with sparkly beard and horns, right? I mean, but it's really distracting in what we're doing. Be aware that Zoom is changing. 2 weeks ago, they changed either passcode or you had to have a waiting room. So be aware as you're creating your meetings, things are changing. Global Impact Group, we worked with them last year when they were doing the training for healthcare providers. This is the same group that does the virtual reality. David Cochran out of Atlanta, Jane Louie out of California, Jim Margrath. He's the guy, Jim Margrath, by the way, created the Oculus VR goggles. He spoke to us last year in Atlanta at the Zone Summit. He's a Rotarian in Silicon Valley. They threw some slides together for us around hybrid meetings. They're calling VIP meetings, virtual in-person meetings. So I think they're kind of trying to coin some interesting terms on there. So there's different types of hybrid meetings. We're going to have some more documents to back this up to say, and I'd like to get Larry to give us a list of equipment like that Movo LV1 to start getting those links out there to information, because we're struggling a little bit around microphones in our club with our hybrid meeting right now. So be aware of the types of meetings that they have. your size of your meetings, whether you're going to have multiple devices in there. Your commandment 1 for a multiple device meeting is thou shalt only have one audio device open in your room. Otherwise, you have that feedback that's happening right away. All the other ones have to be, the easiest way is joined by telephone instead of joined by internet audio in Zoom. And then you get some fancy productions that Global Impact Group, and hopefully we'll be doing some things like this on Florida Pets as we come together. There's some checklists in here. Plan, plan, plan. And when you haven't planned enough, plan some more. So prepare for this. Do not wait for that meeting to start for you to get ready to start your production, right? Things go haywire real quick.
Sideways.
There's Jim Margrath right there. That's actually Scott Dahl, David Cochran. That's Jane Louie. They've been a great. Jim Margrath is the guy who created the Oculus devices out in Silicon Valley. All right.
Okay.
All right, we're doing pretty good. We're 15 minutes ahead of schedule.
Anyone have any questions at this time?
I just have a suggestion because I online teach year round, not due to COVID, just because that's my job. So I use Zoom all the time. There are a lot of settings that not in, if you go up to like your Zoom menu, you see like general settings, and then you can click on like advanced settings in the actual Zoom. Yes, momming also. There are super advanced settings that you probably want to look at because you can look at like allowing people to, I don't know why he doesn't take her anywhere else.
You're fine, Al.
This is my life. Usually I'm on the phone with a kid and she'll start crying and I'm like, just take her outside for a second. Just step outside. So there are settings like, if you kick someone out, to not allow them back in because they could like rejoin, or just settings where you could like not allow people to unmute themselves at certain parts, and then you can click to allow them to unmute themselves. So kind of look at all of those advanced settings, because thankfully I haven't had any issues with kids, but totally not with Rotary, but you could have some weird situations like Andy said. So just kind of prepare yourself with setting up some of those settings, and it just will save you, I think, a lot of headache in case anything weird happens. So.
And see, that's why it's important to also have, because Andy and I talked about this, having a sergeant of arms, so to speak.
Yes.
For your Zoom meetings. But we decided we're all grown folks. We should be able to manage ourselves and, govern ourselves accordingly. So that's why we didn't have sergeant of arms for this. But we did talk about that. And so that is important that you keep that in mind when you are speaking with your clubs.
Even people, just a lot of people will start talking at once.
That's
just
correct.
like muting some of them. I mute my dad a lot. He's in my club. So they'll all just start talking and I just like start to mute people. I'm like, we can't hear what's going on. Everybody's talking. So just, take control of and feel free to mute people. And all you do is just click on, so you see the list of everyone and you see like the microphones. If you're the host and you just click on that button, that just mutes the people. So if you didn't know that, that's a good trick to know. So.
Hey, Mallory, I renege on my decline. I will come do a Zoom session with your club.
Yeah, I don't know. We're kind of transitioning right now to in-person, but we'll see how it's unfolding with our group. We have a lot of way older members, so you have to teach them a lot. So I have to mute them or unmute them sometimes to help them out. But yeah.
I'm afraid to put Michael and Mallory in the same room. Okay. That's all I got to say.
We're just going to have fun.
I'm not going to put you two in the same room. Okay, that's all I got to say. I'm muting you right now, Michael. That's it.
So our next session, here's some homework on here. The 28th is our big meeting, right? We'll have Zoom sergeants for that because we're going to try to get all the PEs, all the AGs, some other district leaderships in place. Peter Kyle's showing up, so don't embarrass us. No, I'm just kidding. Peter's
George Robinson Burnett.
We've got DAC-DB directly coming in to do some training. So we've got some great things planned. Monday night is more free form. I know some questions came up to say, what's expected from me being AG, right? Deborah and I found an actual contract that some district governors have their AG sign. I don't think we'll go that far, but we can.
Michael, maybe.
Are you going to go that far, Deborah?
I think I'm gonna have to go that far with a couple of my AGs. Okay. Look, they're all sitting there, got a stoic look on their face, like, oh my God, no, she isn't.
So Monday is, it's more one-on-one, right? Let's get a conversation going. Let's look at and break down what we really expect you to do as an AG. And we'll have on the 28th, our big meeting there, and really dive in. George Robinson Burnett's going to be here. Who else am I missing, Lisa?
That's all right, Michael. But no, you got everybody. And Marnie, you said DAC-DB and everything. So what we're going to do is you will get an email from Lisa and Brian. It will go out to you probably tomorrow as to the Zoom meeting ID for Monday, this coming Monday, which is the 26th. Same time, same back station, 6 to 8. But this is for us, just you and Andy and myself, and our trainers will be on there also. But so we can cover some things, get you prepared, and then we'll go into on the 28th, which is next Wednesday. Then we'll have another session. And so what we'll do is we'll give you instructions on the 26th as to what we prepare you for in November and December when you have to train the PEs. Okay? And we will be, trust me, Andy and I will be on the Zoom calls that you schedule for your PEs. We will be there. And we will be there to assist you. Okay? But you will be able to train your PEs. And that's why we pair up the AGs from both districts. You will do that together because we found out that the PEs in 6890 might not want to listen to the AG, but they might want to listen to the AG in 6960 and vice versa. We don't know. Okay? But we're mixing it up and make it just great. And Mallory, I don't know what she's eating, Mallory, but it looks good. Okay.
She stole my yogurt. She does that. This is what happens when you have kids. They just steal all your stuff, right? Is that how that works? Okay.
So
anybody have any questions?
Engage with your PEs. If you haven't connected with them, you need to know them by first name.
That's correct.
Get their phone numbers in your iPhone or your cell phone. This has got to be a relationship building type of experience between you and your PEs.
And I would greatly appreciate it for my AGs. Please contact your PEs. Let them know that they're going to be, we expect them to be on Zoom on the 28th. But Brian will send out a P-mail, Michael, a P-mail letting them know what time and where they need to be. Okay.
Sweet. Hey, do I need to connect with Ken Kaplan if we're going to be doing joint training together?
Yes, you can connect with Ken. You can connect with Ken now if you so desire, because what you two need to do between November and December, you two need to figure out how's your schedules. And then you let Andy and I know what time period that you have scheduled for your PEs.
Okay. Hey, so one more question. Do I find his contact information in DAC-DB?
Well, you know what? You know what? Michael.
Actually, yes, Michael.
Yeah, but not only that, you should have gotten a contact list.
I'm jacking with you, man. I know how to find that guy.
Deborah, that would require him actually accessing Pmail.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You see what we got to deal with in 6890?
It's still early. It's still early.
Hey, we gotta have fun, man. We gotta have fun. You know?
John, I need
Sit
you
here
to
for
pull
2
out.
hours on Zoom and talk about Rotary. We gotta have 5 minutes to just have some fun.
Look,
Yeah.
and John, I'm going to have you to bring out your handcuffs and handcuff him, okay?
That's not an unfamiliar position for Mike.
No, see,
You ain't right.
there he is. And Linda she got her little blackjack or whatever. Linda will get you too. Okay, anything else?
Good. Thank you
I
so
have a
much.
question, Mandy and Deborah.
Uh-huh.
When can we expect to be able to get the PowerPoints and the recordings of these meetings that we've just had?
So
There are-
the PowerPoints are on DACDB now. I'll fill in tonight's on the
Okay,
public folders out there. The recordings, they're too big to go on DACDB.
Yeah.
So
but you guys were getting them down.
With
Yeah,
the slides we have, the slides we were able to reduce to go onto DACDB, but the recordings we cannot. But like I said, the difference is Andy put them in DACDB under district files. I put them on DACDB under district committees because I separated them out. I wanted to make sure just the AGs and the PEs got them. Because those are your files. That's your training materials. Okay, so I didn't want to confuse it and put it in files, district files. I wanted them to be separate so you know exactly what you have and what you're looking at. And it's under my name.
and Learning Center should be back up too.
Yes, that's affirmative. The Learning Center is up. And oh, by the way, you hear what I'm saying? The Learning Center, that is the best tool that you have at your disposal. Please go to the Learning Center because guess what? Andy and I get the reports as to who goes in Learning Center, what you're doing, and how and what you need to have. And that's gonna save you in the long run. And I'll answer your questions if Andy and I can't.
Yeah. And trust me, Deborah and I went through the same stuff on the Learning Center, plus another 15 hours.
Yes. So we've covered it all. And we graduate November 7th.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
We tried
Yes.
to keep it 2 hours.
Hey, prayers for Olivia. It's so good
Yes.
to see your face.
Yes,
Think about you
Olivia.
daily, man.
Yes. You look great. And thank
look
you
awesome.
so much for being on here.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Anybody else? I guess, Leslie, you're back from Las Vegas, right? You're muted. Can't hear you.
I think she said she's still in Vegas.
Oh, she's still in Vegas? Okay. No, she's not in Vegas. She's shaking her head. Okay. Thank you so much.
Good
Thank
night,
you,
everybody.
Andy. Take care. And everybody download their slides so we can get them on DACDB. Good night.
Hey, great job. Great job, guys.
Thank you.
Fun.
Say bye.
Bye.